You can just sit right there for me?
Sure.
I'll grab my pad and notes and be right back in with you, okay? Can I get your name, please?
Sure. It's Ann.
Ann?
They call me Annie, but it's Ann. Lisa is my last name, Lisa.
And your date of birth?
March 8th, 1963.
Okay. And what's your address?
40
Mm-hmm.
James Street. And that's in Ansonia, Ansonia, Connecticut.
And the zip?
06401.
Okay. And a phone number I can reach at?
203
Mm-hmm.
231 2261.
And that's your cell phone?
Yes.
Okay. And you're Teresa's sister or sister-in-law?
I'm her sister.
Your sister, okay. My name's John Lathrop. I'm the detective with the Sheriff's Office Homicide Unit, okay? In these circumstances, it's extremely important to get all sorts of varied information about the social history, medical history, things that are going on in your sister's life, because, like I said, every small detail it definitely matters and could help. So we appreciate everyone helping and telling us what's going on, okay? If at any time there's going to be, I'm going to ask some questions that may have to do with her investigation. It may not. There's like kind of a list of questions we go by for the medical examiner that covers a variety of topics like drug abuse, suicide, things like that don't apply, may not apply at all.
Right.
So don't be alarmed when I bring that up. That's just so we don't miss anything.
Absolutely. I'm here to make this happen because we need to know some answers because we're just replaying all potential nightmares in our head right now.
Yes, ma'am. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to go on tape and introduce who we are and what we're doing, and then we'll go into things, okay? And I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have that is appropriate to answer at this time.
I understand.
Absolutely.
You
I know
can't compromise.
I can imagine sometimes for families it can be frustrating because there's certain things we can't release and certain things we can. By all means, though, but if I'm able to, I'll be happy to share.
Oh, thank you so much.
This is Detective John Lathrop, the Lee County Sheriff's Office. The date is July 1st, 2015. The time is 10:35 a.m. This is reference case number 15-268513, homicide investigation that occurred at 27034 Jarvis Road in Bonita Springs, Florida. Conducting a taped interview with first name Ann, last name Lisa, L-I-S-A, white female, 3/8 of 63. Ann resides at 40 James Street, Ansonia, that's A-N-S-O-N-I-A, Connecticut, 06401. Her cell phone number is 203-231-2261, or conduct this taped interview at the Lee County Sheriff's Office headquarters located at 14750 6 Mile Cypress Parkway, Fort Myers, Florida. And when I introduced myself to you, I told you I was a detective with the Sheriff's Department, correct?
Yes, you did.
Let me just make sure these don't vibrate so we're not interrupted. And as a police officer in the state of Florida, I swear you're going to take your statement just like you're testifying in court. You understand? Raise your right hand. You swear in affirmative testimony you're about to give is true and accurate?
It is. Yes.
Okay. And you go by Annie? Is it okay? Do,
Yeah.
do you prefer me to call you Annie?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We're here discussing your sister Teresa. How many brothers and sisters do you guys have?
Okay. There's an older brother,
Mm-hmm.
Patrick,
Older brother,
53,
Patrick.
lives in Connecticut.
He's 53 and he lives in Connecticut. Okay.
There's then me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm 52.
Okay.
And then there was Teresa.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then when my parents divorced, my mother had another son, Frankie.
Okay.
We were raised with Frankie. So this is the family, even though he was our half-brother, because my mother remarried, we grew up together in the same house.
So he's your stepbrother, but you guys grew up
Half-brother.
together. Like, okay. Oh,
There's a
just
big
half.
difference.
Okay.
Because step means, that's my father's wife, and she's got 3 kids, and we're not blood.
Okay. So
He's my half-brother.
Half-brother,
We have the
gotcha.
same mother, okay?
Okay, half-brother.
Right. And then my father, and when he got remarried, he had another daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's her half-sister. Her name is Nim. N-I-M. Right.
N-I-M. Okay.
Right. I should probably tell you she's a professor at Columbia University.
Okay.
She lives in Manhattan. Okay.
Okay.
One more sibling.
Sure.
We just found out about this one 15 years ago.
Mhm.
My father had to come clean and tell us that he had a child when he was married to that second wife, and that is my sister Dawn, D-A-W-N,
Okay.
and her last name is Tottenham, which
Tottenham.
is my maiden name, T-O-T-T-E-N-H-A-M like Mary. So
Okay.
that's my maiden name. That's Teresa's maiden name is Tottenham.
And where does Frankie live?
Frankie lives in New Jersey, Manalapan, New Jersey.
New Jersey. And you said Nim lives in Manhattan, or
She's a professor at Columbia.
and then Dawn. Where does Dawn live?
Dawn lives in Long Island.
Okay, Long Island. All right. And who's Teresa closest with out of the whole family?
Me.
You and Teresa are closest. Okay. And I know Teresa, she's a doctor, correct? Where did she go to school?
She went to Ross University,
Ross University.
which was in Dominica, so it was not in the United States, but she did all of her residencies in the United States.
Okay. Okay. And she has a practice here in Stero.
Yes, Restorative Health and Healing, which she was in the process of going into a new name. What were they going to call it? It's going to end up being called Sievers and Spiska, where East meets West. Pathway,
Spiska?
yes.
Is Spiska the other doctor in the office? or
She's
other
not a
people?
doctor.
Okay.
She's a Reiki master intuologist, medical intuologist, and they were going into a partnership together.
Okay. And from what I've been told, is just her practice was basically taking everything, the body and mind, and how if you have a healthy
Yeah.
lifestyle, healthy nutrition, exercise, you can do a lot of medical problems.
Right. She's built that, but her last missing piece of the puzzle that she put together, I would say right around last year at this time,
Mm-hmm.
was understanding the energetic component, that basically you can be doing, she had patients, and she realized I can't treat people with a pill. Okay, I'm going to spend time. I'm going to get your hormones balanced. I'm going to get your fat. And I know this because I wrote for her. I'm a writer, so I did all her articles, and I knew it. And she was my soulmate, so I knew. And basically, she still had patients who weren't getting better. They were eating all the right diet. They were doing all the right things, but they still weren't getting better. And she realized there was a lot that had to do with intentions and people undergoing stress that they may not consciously be aware of. And she, you know, was getting into doing Reiki, which, you know, Reiki is energetic healing of the hands, where you bring in the universal life force. It's not a religious thing. It's a spiritual thing. It's becoming very, very popular. Teresa was excited to be one of the first doctors in Southwest Florida to openly embrace energetic, not because people are like, it can be polarizing, you know what I mean?
You know, well, people are skeptical.
People are skeptical, but she was getting skeptical people to like see. She was getting people who simply were not getting well, even though all their balances were perfect, they were doing the right, and then they would get to the bottom. Teresa would spend a long time. She'd spend an hour with patients. That's why she stopped taking insurances, because they were getting in her way. She would spend a long time. She would get to the bottom, you know, realize maybe this person was in a relationship that they shouldn't be in, and it was causing it to manifest in their body. She would then, without telling Lenka anything, because Lenka didn't want to know, she would send them to Lenka for a session, and depending on how open and willing the person was, you know, Lenka would be able, and you know, in her way, which was like go into a meditation, or do Reiki and get into their energy field, and literally be able to say, you know, I see this, and most patients, unless they're all blocked up and they don't want to admit anything's wrong with them, you know, oh, well, you're not going to get well, sorry.
Now, is Lenka, is that Spiska?
Yeah.
Okay, because I didn't have her first name.
Yeah.
So Lenka.
So she was the first doctor. I think what's key here is Teresa was the first doctor in Southwest Florida to openly embrace it. And Teresa was the kind of person, she didn't give a shit what you thought about her. Sometimes I'd be like, could you just calm down? Don't tell me to calm down. That's how she was. And she didn't care. She didn't care if she was going to lose every patient that she had. She wanted people to know, this is it. You're being fed. You're not hearing the whole picture. She was getting into a position where she wanted to start seeing patients less and less and get into large scale, where she's asked to be speaking. She's been doing a lot of events. So she wanted to impact every person and load them with education and information so they could tap into the doctor within them and heal themselves. Of course, she'll be there to take you on the journey, but you need to be willing. I can't fix you. Only you can fix you. And that's where we were. And I know this verbatim because I wrote a lot of this for her in our conversations. I helped her put together some presentations. I did all of her articles. I just finished doing all the writing for her website and for her television show, Pathways to Healing, that she and Lenka were going to be doing. So I know it thoroughly.
Okay. And Teresa, did she drink alcohol?
She drank wine.
Drank wine. And how often would she drink, and how much?
Never on a school night, as we always said. Probably a Friday, a Saturday or Sunday. She liked red
socially,
wine. Yes.
Maybe a couple glasses.
Yeah.
Okay. Did she smoke cigarettes?
No, she quit.
Cigars, cigarettes, anything like that?
Oh, she might grab a cigar if we were out.
But at one time she did smoke, and she quit.
Oh yeah. I mean, how long has it been now? 26 years.
Oh, years and years ago. Okay. Any kind of legal drugs, marijuana, cocaine, methamphetamine?
Yeah,
anything?
she'll get mad at me because she was a doctor who believed that weed could be a good healer, but she hasn't smoked anything in 10 months. I think she said 10 months.
And why did she quit 10 months ago?
She just suddenly realized that, you know, spiritually, if you really want to be authentic, because, you know, when you're high, you can have, you know, you think that, and it can certainly facilitate some spiritual thought, but she wanted to be completely authentic, and she was done.
Do you know anybody in particular she was either getting the marijuana from or buying it from?
Absolutely, I do not know that.
Just make sure she's not buying it from some dealer on the street. Or
No. She was no. Now I'm going to be honest with you. Can I tell you that Mark might not tell you that because Teresa was like, don't, and nobody can ever know. Do you understand? I'm a physician. She goes, and it pisses me off because why isn't it legal? And I think it can certainly help patients.
Absolutely.
And it certainly, you know, it certainly helped her at times.
And I'm not concerned with that aspect.
Just so
I'm
you
just
know,
concerned with linking who's involved in their life.
Oh no, yeah, no.
Yeah.
There was none of that was going on, and I know that I don't know any names. I know that it was nowhere near her house when she got it, and it was respectable people. Respectable people don't like people to know that they smoke weed. You know, it's okay to, you know, get messed up on martinis every night, but it's not socially acceptable, and she had a lot at stake.
Sure.
So it was not part of, no.
Yes. Was she under the care of a doctor for any other illnesses or any?
She was her own
problems?
doctor.
I understand, but
No, but
was she seeing
literally.
anybody heart disease, cancer, strokes, anything like that?
Nope. Only person she would see is Lanka. Give me a Reiki treatment, Lanka.
Okay. Was she ever diagnosed with any mental illness, schizophrenia, bipolar, depression, anything like that? Has she ever been Baker acted or institutionalized for any reason?
What?
Baker acted. Baker act is if, say, you tell the police officer or doctor that you're going to hurt yourself.
No.
Anything like that.
Okay, no.
Like I said, some of the questions may not apply. It's kind of standard list we go by. So if she doesn't, she doesn't.
That's fine. I understand.
Has she ever threatened to hurt herself or commit suicide?
Never.
Okay. Again, like I said, some of the questions don't apply. This is standard list. Is there anyone in particular who want to harm her or hurt her for any reason?
Okay. This is where we need to talk.
Okay.
This is what came to my husband first.
And what's your husband's name?
Peter Lisa.
Peter.
Okay. We were all just away upstate New York this weekend, and Teresa, I wasn't in the room. I started to hear Teresa talk about it. I mean, I normally spoke to my sister almost every morning. We'd call it dilling. We would talk to each other on speaker while putting our makeup on. Over the past month, it was very much less because she's under so much stress. She was trying to get up and do her meditation in the morning and write her notes, and she had to write an article, and she had to be on this TV show, and she was traveling, so it was a little more. But she's this medical building that she's in, and this is what I said to Mark. Did you tell them about the deal? Oh, no, Annie, because Mark's a little bit of a scatterbrain.
Yeah.
He doesn't remember things. He has to put them in his phone. Because he won't remember, which drove my sister out of her freaking mind. Because my sister was like,
yeah.
And Mark was like, and she'd be like, what are you doing? You're making me crazy.
You know, relationships, a lot of time you got one super strong and one...
Oh, Teresa was
just the way
Teresa was super strong,
together.
and he was Mr. Mom, and she went out and she ran the business. She bought into this business, I want to say 10 years ago. And the deal was they invested some money, and at the end of the contract, they stood to make $1 million. She did not want to leave beautiful St. Petersburg, Florida, which we all love to come and visit. And she ended up here. And for our mother, who's been in real estate for 25 years, 30 years, she did the dumbest thing in the world. She lived in a shit neighborhood. She bought 2 lots, and she built this big, stupid house.
Yeah, I saw the house.
We broke her bone.
Maybe 100,000 more than any other house in the neighborhood.
She's like, I know. Yeah. You know, I couldn't, you know, didn't want to get Teresa yelling at me. I know. So, so they were under, you know, that was hard. I think they lost some properties. Real estate went down. There was a lot of like, oh man, like she's like, I can't believe I'm a doctor and I have no freaking money. So now, over the last, I want to say, maybe the last 8 months, because it was right after the anniversary of my dad's death. We happened to be in Boston, and that was in September of 2013. And she said, started talking shortly after that, so probably the beginning of 2014, about, I think we're going to be able to get out of this building, because as she realized is the rent she was paying was astronomical.
And that was a building in St. Pete?
That was where her office is. And the rent is absolutely ridiculous. I could get a place down the street. I could save myself a load of money. You know, I'm so over it. I'm wondering if I should just break my lease. I don't know what to do. And then an opportunity came on the table where, and I don't know any of the particulars, but you need to talk, you need to figure this out, where there was a really good opportunity that was going to come through. And I don't know if it's because somebody was going to buy the building, they were going to buy the practice, they were whatever. Teresa was going to make a nice fat check. Everybody was. And she was going to be able to get the hell out of there, reduce her overhead, and have some money that she could put aside. That fell apart. She felt she was devastated. This weekend, she said, another deal came to the board. Now, I don't know who's on the board. I don't know who's involved in owning this property building.
Now, so I don't get lost. She still currently was owning the property
still
in St.
involved.
Pete. This is all recently, even though she lived here?
No. This property is in Fort Myers. This is where restorative health and healing practice is. Right in that building where she practiced.
So that we're talking about the same building where she's at currently right now?
Currently.
Okay.
So what happened was, she said something like, we got another, I go, what's going on with the building? Are you going to be able to get out of that? She goes, these freaking people, they haven't put another offer on the table, but it involved them getting into business with other people and signing another lease. And her lease with these people, I want to say she said it was up in July. Okay? And she was so basically, my sister didn't mince her words. She goes, I regret getting in business with you assholes. I'm not going to get in business for 10 more years with people I don't know, because they did things like they put competing doctors in the same building who did this, offered the same services she did, and they didn't have the training for. So she did stupid things. She goes, well, I need to get out of this. I need to get out. I'm not 100% sure, but it could be possible. So what Teresa did was she got a lot of other people to think, which is what she did. So there were people who wanted this business deal to close because they were going to make a lot of money. And my sister basically stopped it from happening, whether she was the only person who voted against it or she made other people, wake up, what the hell's wrong with you? And other people started taking Teresa like, yeah, you know, she's right, she's right. So that was one of the first things my husband thought of.
Okay.
Like who would want to hurt my sister?
Sure.
Okay. The other thing is there's a person that works in Teresa's office. Her name is Sandra. You've probably spoken to her already. Sandra. I don't know her last name.
Hopkins, something
She
like
was
that.
the only Sandra. She's probably maybe 50,
Yes, ma'am.
thin woman. Teresa has worked with Sandra for, I was there with her on her 40th birthday, for probably 7 years. My sister was getting to it. My sister tried to help everybody, you know, to the point where, you know, let me buy this for you, let me help you do this, let me get you here, you know, let me buy you a car, whatever she couldn't do. But over the years, last couple of years, she would say to me, Sandra's driving me out of my, I'm going to censor everything because my sister was great for F-bombs, drive me out of my freaking mind.
You don't censor, you can just be straight up.
Okay.
That's cool.
She's like, drive me fucking crazy, Dill.
Yeah.
She's driving me fucking nuts. She goes, listen to what she did today. She's in the energy world. When you talk, there's certain archetypes that we all carry. Okay. She was the victim archetype. It was always, doing stupid things like, oh, well, I'm really sick today and I have the flu, but I'm coming into work today.
Type, yeah.
I was like, shut
Everyone
the
knows
fuck
that
up,
type,
right?
yeah.
So my sister was like, get your shit together. I'm trying to raise the vibration of this office. I also heard her say over the years that, Sandra was bad-mouthing Teresa. Now, you may not like your boss, but you don't bad-mouth them to patients that are coming in the doors, like Dr. Sievers, she's a bitch. So I already said to me, someone who was so good to her, and I'm not saying my sister wasn't a hard ass. My sister expected shit from you. You know what I mean? Because she was going to give it all. And if you're not on this team, get the fuck out, and somebody else will come here who can help me. I mean, we argued sometimes about how to write an article, and I'd be like, shut up, I'm the writer, and stop talking like a scientist. And we would, all right, I'll give it up to you. But it was hard to get her to give it up. So for Sandra to do that, said to me, she was already willing to break a trust and dishonor her. So that already fit in my mind. But what really stuck in my mind when you're doing the who'd want to hurt my sister is I said to her just maybe a couple of weeks ago, what's going on with Sandra? Did you get rid of her yet and replace her? Because I know she goes, Dill, I finally went up to her and said, Sandra, now they knew she was looking for another job because any email that Sandra sends, Teresa's husband Mark gets a copy. Okay. So they knew she was looking for another job, which they were thrilled to death. But Teresa, being the nice person that she is, didn't say, you're done today, goodbye, or get out of here in 2 weeks. She said, Sandra, I just want to let you know, I've tried so hard, but I cannot take your energy anymore. You're sucking me dry. You're killing the vibration of this office. I've given you so many chances, and you just keep screwing this up and screwing that up. When you know, and then you lie to me, I asked you if you did this. My sister already knows what the answer is. Catches her in a lie. Catches in her lie. She said, I need you to look for another job, even though she knew she was. She needed to hear from Teresa. Because I need to move this practice in another direction, and you're not going to be on. I can't have you part of it. So, was she a disgruntled employee? Obviously, we can't make any assumptions.
And this was a few weeks ago. She basically told her.
I want to say this was in the last 3 weeks. I mean, this is when Teresa and I talked about it. Whether she told Sandra a month ago, because like I said, I wasn't talking to her. Whenever we did talk, it was like we tried to cover so much in 5 minutes. So I never got every detail. I got up this morning, I had a bagel for breakfast, which she wouldn't have a bagel anyway. We never got to talk about those things unless we had like made a date and said, hey, what are you doing Saturday morning? Let's have coffee and dill for a while. Oh, good, we'll have a dill session. Good dill session.
Which is
Hour.
like chit
dill.
chat.
Well, we called each other dill, and then you could actually use it as a verb. Let's dill.
Okay.
Let's just dill. And we would talk on the phone and have coffee, and that's where I would get to hear, like, what's really going on with this TV show. Okay, remind me who this guy is. Okay, he's the producer that met you, and he thinks you're natural. Okay, who's this person? So that's when we would have. But it had been, sad as it is, it's probably been 6 weeks since we've had any long, depth conversation, because there's just been, like, 2 ships passing in the night. When
Yeah.
she would call me, it was 9:30 at night. I was already done.
Mm-hmm.
When I would call her, it was 7 o'clock in the morning. Now she was getting up and doing a meditation and doing, journal writing in the morning. During the day it was impossible. Okay, she was with patients. So I always knew if I got a call from my sister during the day, if either one of us did, we always took it because we knew it was important. We would never bother each other.
Sure.
So I can tell you the conversation with Teresa was probably within the last 2 weeks. And when she had it with Sandra could have been within a month of that time frame. So it's been recent. It's not like she told her a year ago. I don't even think it was 6 months ago. I would say within the last 2 or 3 months, probably closer to the last, on the closer side, gave this news to Sandra. I got here last night. As soon as I got to see my brother-in-law, we cried and we went through all that stuff. Because I know he's a dingy. Mark, did you tell them that? Oh, Annie, I didn't even think about that. And I was like,
Oh, you mean Sandra, and then also the real estate? And
yeah, he goes, I didn't even think of that. And then the Sandra thing, and I go, when did she tell her? He goes, well, did she tell her? I know she was going to tell her. I'm like, Mark. He's like, wait a minute, Annie, wait. Yeah, she did, Annie. She did tell her that. And I'm like, don't you think the police need to know that?
Absolutely.
Teresa just fired somebody.
Yeah.
Who we never thought was right. I'm not saying she was she did stupid things. Like she would buy my sister, like she had no money. And she'd buy my sister like $200 worth of birthday gifts. I don't buy my sister $200 worth of Teresa doesn't give a shit about that.
Yeah.
And I still have a green dress with a tag on it in my closet because when she showed it, she goes, look what Sandra did. And she goes, and would I ever wear this? And this stupid tacky jewelry? My sister was very down to earth, but she wasn't tacky. I go, the dress isn't too bad. She goes, here, take it. You want it? That was when I was here, I don't know how many years ago. She's like, you see what I mean, Annie? She goes, that's the kind of, my sister actually never called me Annie. You see what I mean, Anne? This is the kind of stupid shit that she does. She's crying and then she goes out and she wants you to feel bad for her and she wants you to like her. So that's the kind of personality that I could probably best describe you. And Lenka could give you Lenka was like, this girl's energy is bad because Lenka feels that. Teresa goes, you got that one right away. That, that she was not a good fit for the office, for the direction that they were moving.
Now, our understanding is that your sister did a lot of help in the community with we heard about with
our mothers,
teens and mothers and all these other things. Any problems with anyone that maybe she was helping and she cut off recently, or because sometimes in these situations it's somebody that she may know someone, but they may have a boyfriend or a husband or somebody that decides, hey, I'm going to hurt this girl or hurt someone.
Okay, so she used to be the president, okay, and thanks to listening to me and saying you need to stop, you're doing too many things.
She's the president of
Our Mother's Home. Our
Mother's Home. And what do they do?
They are an organization that works to keep teen mothers and their babies together in a system. Because when you have foster care and a teen gets pregnant, they separate the mother and the kid. Okay. And all that does is perpetuate the foster care system.
Sure.
They try to keep the mother and daughter together. Teresa was the president of the board. She ran fundraisers for the past several years. She had meetings there every Tuesday night.
Do they have an office where they have?
They do. I wish I could give you the name of the person who she's most closest with now, but if you talk to Karen Watson.
Karen Watson, okay.
Karen Watson worked very closely with my sister, Karen Watson. Teresa then she was on the board of directors. She was not as active. She wanted to remain on the board.
Sure.
Karen can tell you when Teresa was no longer the president. She can tell you details about, because I know at one time there was one of the girls, Teresa opened up her home to her with the baby.
So the girl actually moved in with her and the kids and Mark?
For a short while.
Do you know the girl's name?
I don't know any of this. This is where Karen Watson will be able to remember these people.
Do you know how long ago this?
I'm guessing it could have been 3 years ago. But that's not, and I'm tainting this because Teresa would get very attached to the girls because she cared so much. A lot of these girls were victims of human trafficking. They were raped. Their mothers whored them out for drugs. And they couldn't, the problem was, this is great, we're keeping the mother with the kid, but they didn't know how to be a mother. Yeah. So my sister would meet with them and she would teach them how to be a mother. And she would talk to them about respect and what it means to have respect. And they'd get privileges take away, because what are you doing stealing her cell phone for? This is what I'm talking about, respect. Teresa was really She was amazing like that. She took time away from her own children and her little bit of time so she could go and try and get this happening. I know there were a couple times I remember I went there once and she'd go, I know you don't want to hug me. You're going to hug me. And then she would call me a couple weeks later, hey, remember that girl I introduced you to? And she was all attitudinal. She came up to me and she gave me a hug. Ann, this is progress. This is progress. I'm having an impact on these girls. Now, could there have been some girls who were bad-mouthing her, Teresa? Girls who should not have, who she wanted to keep in the program, but they were aging out and she was trying to get them a job or whatever was going on, and the legal mother would come back and be able to take the kid, and it would break my sister's heart because and she's done. She's done. So that happened a lot.
And the girl that lived there, did she just live there with her and the baby? No boyfriend, anything like that?
No, I don't believe anybody came to the house.
And Karen or even Mark would probably know the girl's name and everything.
Mark's memory, I can't tell you. Karen Watson will be your girl.
Did Mark have like an accident or injury or something, or he just kind of...
Teresa was always trying to figure it out. She's like, is he being... I go, I don't know, maybe he's being a passive-aggressive, Teresa, because you're kind of a drill sergeant. You, you know, you wear the pants, you're making the money, but Mark worshiped the ground Teresa walked on. He was Mr. Mom. No matter, she could finish ripping him out like, Mark, I told you 100 fucking times, don't let the dogs out. I'm sorry, honey, you need to let. And then she would be doing something. He'd go, sweetie, let me get that for you. I go, how could you be so nice to her? She'd be like, shut up. So anyway, she said to me several years ago, she goes, I don't know what the fuck is wrong with my husband. I'm like, well, maybe he's just being passive-aggressive. She goes, I don't know. She goes, I don't know, Mark wouldn't do that. I go, it seems like, you know, because he's always like goofy. Like even he's in the fingerprints, he's just goofy. She goes, you know what, I'm going to do a test on him and see. He may have metals. If you are exposed to a lot of metals, it can affect your brain. And I think she came to some sort of conclusion like, and he also had head trauma, I think, at one time. So he literally can't remember shit. Little shit like, if she said every day, I need you to take these 4 blankets and hang them on the line, he wouldn't remember. And it would make her insane because she's trying to run a business. He's raising the kids. She'd tell him everything 50 fucking times and she'd be like, you're exhausting me. So that kind of stuff.
Now, anybody else, did she have any problems? We understand there's cleaning staff, there's pool people, maintenance, lawn maintenance. Any problem with anybody doing any maintenance on the house?
I've never heard her talk about anything like that.
And Mark's mother, that's the other woman that's here with you guys, and she was like watching the house when they were up north, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and she's I believe she drives like a red car, and she's always at the house and helping out with her.
I don't know what she drives. Honestly, I know her name is Bonnie. I met her at Teresa's wedding. I know she's married to another woman named Melanie. I know that they lived close by. I know that, you know, Teresa wasn't overly fond of her in-laws because she felt like they were needy and controlling with one another, and they had a lot of issues, as Teresa would always point out people's issues. And, you know, she'd be like, oh, God, I just don't want to go there for Christmas Eve because they're not going to have good food, and I need to get my gluten-free this and my dairy-free and my non-GMO and all my stuff. And she didn't like, even Mark will tell you that if they had, you know, they moved there to be close to help Teresa and Mark, but they were so not helpful, and they needed help with the girls, and it drove them fucking crazy. So, like, even if they said the girls were going to take you over at Grandma's, they'd be like, oh, can't Mimi come down? Mimi, my mother from Connecticut. They just didn't like being with her because they're just, you know, whatever. But they needed them to take care of the dogs this weekend, and Mark told me last night, which I'm sure he told you, that his mother was in and out of the house, and she wasn't able to get the alarm set. Did you know this?
I'm not sure. I didn't interview Mark. My partner Jamie, who's interviewing Mark now, talked to him, but I'm sure he.
So we talked about it last night, and I said, well,
because they just weren't clear on how to operate it, so they weren't.
She couldn't get it dingy. Mark's like, all right, Mom, you know, I just what can I tell you?
Rather than have it go off 50 times and have the police at the house or anything, okay, well, they'll probably be fine.
Right. So
the neighborhood is relatively quiet. There's really not that many problems down there.
Which said to me, okay, well then Teresa got into her house and the alarm wasn't set. I know the very first thing my sister would do is set the alarm. Very first thing. Because my sister didn't like being alone. I mean, she did from the standpoint like, peace and quiet.
Sure.
But at night, she'd get freaked out. And a couple times I know she would hear things and she'd, you know, she was very jumpy and call the police. So I said to Mark, so that means somebody was waiting there because she would have set the alarm. And I guess if somebody cut an alarm, it would still, right? Mark would have gotten a phone call.
I can't go into those details.
Okay, I understand.
How about now? How about our relationship with Mark? And the more, and the more honest and open we are about what's going on, you know, obviously we're the police,
Right.
so
Yeah.
anybody close to our family members,
Of course.
husbands, but we need to know, because we're going to find phones and
Of
everything.
course.
And we, you know, so the same thing we told him. We want everyone to be candid with us, because now we find
wanna help.
pictures or texts and we're like, wait a second,
Right.
you said everything hunky dory, and everyone argues, everybody fights. We know that. We're all married. We know.
Yeah. So Teresa always said, I'll never leave Mark. I
Mhm.
won't ever do that to my girls. Recently, she was at least able to say she got energetically together. My father left when Teresa was very little.
Mm-hmm.
She goes, I feel like, and I told Mark this, you know what, Mark, I love you
Mhm.
and whatever, but I'm not afraid if I just can't take you're driving me crazy kind of a thing. If I had to leave you, I wouldn't be afraid.
Mm-hmm.
It wouldn't trouble me if I had to. But that wasn't anything we talked about.
Yeah.
She wasn't having an affair.
She wasn't.
She wasn't.
How was their relationship? No. Some of the neighbors said there was maybe some arguing.
Oh, they
fighting,
always.
or-
Listen, I would leave with a headache.
Mhm.
Okay, because they got those big high ceilings.
Mhm.
I'll have to go outside, you guys. I can't take the acoustics. So they were always. That's why I'm thinking maybe when somebody heard her scream, they was like, oh, there's Dr. Sievers again. My
Mhm.
sister was extremely loud.
Mhm.
Okay, and she had a fuse like that. So if you did something wrong 2 or 3 times, she would yell. She was a screamer.
Mhm.
She was equally loving, kind, and compassionate. She was intense. She was a
Mhm.
screamer. It was never anything out of, being anything other than loving. But she'd get
Mhm.
frustrated with you if you weren't going as quickly as she was, because her brain worked very fast.
Sure. Any history of domestic violence where
No.
Mark either
No,
hit her
no,
or
no.
she was either hitting
Oh,
Mark,
no,
or
no, never.
any kind of
Nope.
no problems? She never confided there was any
Nope.
fighting with punching, hitting, kicking.
My sister would never
Threats.
tolerate. Nope, my sister would never tolerate that.
Any threats when she gets upset? Threaten to leave him? I know, because she's a breadwinner, and he's more
I
the
don't- I
stay-at-home
don't-
mom. The
no,
roles
no,
are kind
no.
of
No.
traditionally reversed.
Like I said, the only thing I said to you was she had an epiphany.
Mm-hmm.
She said, I at least feel good in my heart. I'm not saying that I want to, but I don't feel like I have to. I feel like if it really drove me crazy, remembering things and just, you make 5 miles forward and you
Mhm.
go 1 mile backwards because Mark forgot to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Mark forgot to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, I can remember just driving to the beach with her, and Mark would be like, driving the van, and she'd be like, why do you have to take the corners like that? And he would look up and laugh, like look at us, and we would laugh too,
Mhm.
because we enjoyed watching Teresa get
Get
angry,
fired
because she
up.
was, get her fired up, because she
Mhm.
was funny, because you just never knew what was going to come out of her mouth.
Mm-hmm.
So, what I'm saying is, she never said to me, I think I'm going to leave Mark. She
Mhm.
never said to me, she said, I'm at a place, and this was probably, oh my God, 2 years ago. It wasn't like she just said this. I'm in this place. And I said, well, that's good, Teresa, because, I know that you can't live for your kids. Your kids are important, but you need happiness and you need peace, because
Mhm.
then you could be better for them.
Sure. Anything you know about any kind of life insurance policies? Any?
I just asked
Anything else like
Danielle.
that?
I just asked Danielle. I said, please tell me, because I know that they didn't, I'm upset that the breadwinner is gone.
Mm-hmm.
My brother-in-law, which is as the, manager,
Mm-hmm.
office manager. And even though it drove Teresa nuts to have Mark work for her, she
Mhm.
knew the best thing she could do is she wanted Mark wanted maybe go to law school. They talked about it. And
Mhm.
Teresa's like, I want you to be your own person. I don't like that you have to work for me and that you have to.
Mhm.
But Mark was like I said, Mark worshipped the ground she walked on, and he would drive us to the spa when I came there. He'd be exhausted with the girls, the babies when they were little, and all right, let me get you guys. My sister loved to go to her spa.
Mhm.
But what were you just asking me?
About life insurance policies, things
and
like
I
that?
just said to Danielle, I said, please tell me Teresa had life insurance. I go, I want to say she had a good policy, like
Mhm.
$100,000. She goes, Annie, I think it was more than that.
Mhm.
I think Teresa said she said, I need to have a good life insurance policy because I'm the breadwinner, and God forbid anything happens, I need to make sure that my girls are taken care of.
Did she ever mention an amount, or mention it if she's changed it recently, or done anything different with the policy, or?
I don't know. I want to say it was $100,000.
Mhm.
Danielle said, I think it was a lot more than that.
Yeah, because $100,000 probably wouldn't even cover what they owe in the house.
Yeah, so it could have been $1 million. So I'm thinking the number 1 is in my head, so it could have been $1 million. So
Mhm.
it could be.
Okay. What about Mark? Is there any possibility that Mark's seeing someone else on the side, or behind your sister's back when she's traveling and she's so busy and doing everything? And
The
he's at
girls
the
are
house?
homeschooled.
Mm-hmm.
He's with the girls all the time. There's no way on God's green earth. I would never. No. Nope.
Is there any possibility your sister either met another doctor, met another friend, is with someone?
I would know. I would know. And the only thing I can tell you on that, and she even told Mark, she ran into a colleague maybe 3 years ago. Couldn't tell you what his name was. Somebody that she connected with, and they spent time together, nothing physical, and she just felt even guilty for having those feelings. And then she came home and she told Mark, and I go, you never talk about that shit. You never, because now he's going to feel sad, and he did feel sad, and she promised him that, you know, she would never text him, she would never call him, and that was like other person, that would be the closest possible thing.
Do you know if he was a doctor, or you know his name or anything like that? She never told you?
I don't remember. I wish I could tell you. I don't remember. I mean, there's so many doctors' names that she's doing a conference with this one, and I really like this one, and we might think that, you know, maybe we can do something together with, you know, these two businesses, and maybe I'll go in this person's office. No idea.
Do you know, and I don't mean to embarrass you or everything, I'm just going to be straight up with you. Is there anybody that they would introduce into their own relationship, like sexually, bring in like other partners, friends, swing, anything like that? We just need to know in case
absolutely.
of some kind of issue with that. Nothing that you know about that. Nothing she mentioned.
No.
That anyone else, any friends, family, anybody else is involved in anything like that with them.
Or they would invite somebody in, like to have a menage a trois or something like that.
Or couples, people, you know, adults make their own decisions.
Yeah,
but like I said, sometimes
swaps.
We explore every aspect just in case.
No.
Nothing
In
like
fact,
that.
my sister had just said to me, the thing I try to prevent women from, you know, I want them to go through gracefully. She goes, I was like, don't worry, Dill, you're also under a lot of stress. She goes, I will, I just can't right now. So she happened to say, yeah, she goes, I'm so tired.
All that kind of thing. Is this
I mean,
a while?
I can only tell you that she told me she felt that way probably. She told me that probably a week ago.
Okay.
How long she's been feeling that way? She was kind of saying, I'm one of my patients that I try to avoid from getting in this place. Like, you should be having sex. Your husband should be chasing you around the couch, and you should be having sex when you're 60. And if you're not, it's because your hormones are out of whack, and maybe your thyroid, and then, okay, well, maybe you have emotional, spiritual shit going on. She tried to figure the whole puzzle out. So she knew her spiritual shit was together. But I said, I can't believe you stopped. That was... She also just told me something stupid. For example, I said, Ma, well, who's bringing what? Teresa's going to stop at Whole Foods before we get to the house in New York. I said, because I've got some Earth Balance, which we use. She goes, oh, Teresa doesn't use Earth Balance anymore. I said, well, wait a minute. Why did I not
What's
get
Earth
that?
Balance?
It's something like a butter. It's a non-dairy.
Okay.
We didn't eat dairy. But I will tell you that we did over the weekend. We cheated. We had a little dairy. We had a little gluten. We felt like crap from it. So I broke her balls and I said, oh, you're not doing your Earth Balance, and you didn't tell me. I go, she started laughing. She goes, I'm so sorry. And she gave me her philosophy as to why she didn't want to do Earth Balance anymore. So the whole thing, it was just like, why would you, you know, I know. She goes, I'm one of my patients right now. What can I tell you?
Yeah, life gets in the way and you get busy. Tell me about the trip. Now, her and the kids and Mark flew up north to visit, correct?
Yes.
When did they leave to come up north?
They left Friday.
Do you know what vehicle they drove? Do they all drive together to the airport? Or?
I don't know.
Because I know most people said Mark generally uses the van and she takes the car.
Right.
But I wasn't sure if she drove the van, if she drove the
Teresa
car.
drove the car. Mark drove the van. I would imagine, because it was such a short stay, that they would have all gone in one car and left it there at the airport. Not that my sister's not one to say I'm calling a car when needed, but that was not a situation where I think she felt she would need to call a car.
Sure.
And then from there, they all flew to Connecticut. They were one of the first to arrive. I remember, I could probably, if it's important to you, I can let you know.
We had the times on the
Okay.
flights. So they arrived in Connecticut, and it was like a
No.
family trip?
They drove in New York.
LaGuardia, right?
I believe they flew into LaGuardia, and then from there we rented a house in New Windsor, New York, on the lake. And I don't know. I want to say Teresa got there 3 o'clock, 2:30. I got there about 2. Teresa got there about 2:30, 2:45.
Okay. And what was the plan? How long were they planning to stay there?
Plan was we were going to leave on Sunday, but there were no new people coming in, and the owners said, "Look, if you want," because we said, "Look, Teresa's flight is not till 7:30. What are we going to do?" They said, "Feel free to stay, use the pool. The cleaning people won't come until whenever. So if you want to stay a little bit later, we're okay with that." So that was the plan, and that's what we pretty much stuck to. But we were all like, it rained, and so we decided that let's just start wrapping this. Everybody started packing up their stuff. Teresa and I were playing a game of backgammon, trying to get another game of backgammon, and okay, let's give the kids lunch, and let's start separating the food on who's taking what. When I left, Teresa was just coming down the stairs, and I could tell you what she wore. I could tell you everything. And she was bringing her suitcase, and so she was all done. She was done.
So you guys had the lake house just for the weekend, and then Mark and the kids were planning on staying longer?
Right. The initial decision, the initial idea back in March or April was, my sister said, "I want to surprise the girls when we come up to the east, when we go to rent the house."
Meaning with her kids?
Yeah. Mark and I want to surprise the girls, and maybe they'll stay 2 weeks with Mimi.
Okay.
And I'm like, "Oh, great!
With
They
your
can sleep
mom.
over my house. Like, I don't get to do these. These are like the daughters I never had." I said, "Oh my God, it'll be great. We can go get ice cream, and we can go do this." She goes, "I'm going to ask Mommy to, fly the girls back." Now my mother's getting up there in age. She's 75, but Teresa, of course, the plan was that she would keep my mother alive forever with hormones and medicine, supplements and whatnot. I said, my mother calls me up and she goes, "Yeah, your sister asked me, but Anne Marie, I don't know." She goes, I don't want to be responsible for the girls." I go, "Ma, they're the best behaved girls in the world. And you've been with them since they were babies." My mother would go down for 2 or 3 weeks at a time and be with my sister. She's like, "I don't know. I don't think I'm going to do it." And then my sister called me and she goes, "Can you fucking believe Mommy? She can't do this for me. What the hell's wrong with her? I have patients who are 90 and they're traveling to friggin' around the world. She's getting old before her time, and it's all in her head. She's hanging around too many old people." What she was. Her husband's 81. Her brothers were 90 and 87. And she cut it out.
Yeah.
So the decision was, all right, Mark will stay behind with the girls, and that Teresa would leave early.
Okay, 'cause she had to get back to work.
Monday morning. So that was how they left it, and I'm so painful for my mother, who's sitting there. "If only I had, then Mark would have been with her, and maybe he could." I said, "And maybe they'd both be dead. We don't know, Mom, and don't you dare beat yourself up."
Yeah. You said you remember what she was wearing when she came down, getting ready for the airport. Do you remember what clothes she was wearing?
Exactly. I could show you a picture of what
Do you
she
have
was
a
wearing.
picture?
Yeah. She looked like a rock star. This was the last picture taken of Teresa before she was taken. This dress, it's got a T-back.
Okay.
She had her hair down. So if this dress was off or her hair was in a ponytail, she was already, in her getting ready for bed mode. My guess, based on the no alarm and the garage door being open, which I know you can't tell me whether it was open or it wasn't, was that she just got in the door and didn't have a chance to close it yet, and she was immediately attacked. That's my guess.
Can you text that to us?
Yes. Can you give me a phone number?
Yeah, you can just text it to my work cell, and then we'll have that.
Okay.
It's 239 707 6558.
I can't do that. I have to do it on a text. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Okay, 239.
Yes, ma'am. 239 707 6558. Perfect. Okay.
This picture was taken at approximately 12 noon.
So just before she was already dressed, ready to go to the airport, and that's the way she left. Perfect. Okay.
Yeah, we wanted to look good when we traveled.
Oh, I understand. I can't.
But she broke my stones for putting makeup on over the weekend, and I'm like, shut up.
Oh, really? Oh, well, at the lake house, you're putting on
She's
makeup?
like, what are you doing putting your makeup on? I'm like, because we're going to be taking family pictures, and when you're 52, all right, you can do the same thing.
So, when she was planning to go to the airport, did she have a car take her? Did she drive? How did she get to the airport?
Took her to the airport. The girls went with them.
So the whole family went together?
The whole family went. We thought about taking the girls back to Connecticut so that they didn't have to endure another car ride.
Yeah.
But the girls were misbehaving that morning, and Teresa, part of them was like, we're going to screw them. Now they're going to have to deal with the car ride. But Teresa was like, I need to remind them the values that I instilled in them, so I want them to do the ride. And I talked to Teresa at 4:30 that afternoon when she got to the airport. And I said, how did it go? Did you leave it in a good place? She goes, yeah, we had a long talk with the girls, and they understand everything and what mommy expects from them, and being a leader, and just because your cousin told you to do this, what are you going to do if somebody offers you crack? You're going to go, okay? We expect you to be a leader. So they understood. They understood the deal. And that was it. Mark told me, because I wanted to try to put details together. He said, can you believe, there we all were at the airport, and we actually said, should we all just go home together? We're here now. And I don't know how it was decided. Nah, screw it. And then Mark said, then Mommy called from the airport. They held hands in the car, and they all held their arms out, and Teresa was at the airport. I know my sister holding one of her arms out, and they were saying their prayer, good night, to each other. And that was it.
Do you know if Mark or anyone else had any other contact with Teresa once she got on the plane or once she got back to Florida?
I know Mark told me that, I said, when's the last time you talked to Teresa? When she got in her car, she goes, okay, just want to let you know, landed safe in the car, driving home. Talk to you tomorrow. Something to that effect, Mark said. That was it.
Okay. Have you had a chance to talk to the girls yet? Your nieces?
Yeah.
Did they give you any other details?
We're keeping it real.
Have they said anything unusual, anything weird about anything that happened prior, anything around the house, anybody strange coming around the house, anybody that made them uncomfortable? Either landscapers, friends, patients, anything that was...
I have not asked them any questions like that because Mark is so protective of his girls. He hasn't eaten. They're putting it together that their mother was killed.
They're the age they're going to understand.
They said, we heard you, Dad. We heard you talking about fingerprints. And my Josephine said, in these words, because she's very bright, I do not want you to confirm that, Dad. I do not want you to confirm if that's what she... And he said, honey, I can't confirm anything because I don't know anything yet. So these girls have put it together.
Is the cell phone, I think the phone we have one phone number for your sister, the phone that she called Mark on. Does she have any other phones? Does she have a work phone, another phone on the side, anything else that she would have any other conversations on? When she left the airport, do you know if she had a laptop, iPad, anything like that with her?
I don't think so. I don't think she brought a computer. She always used to, and I don't think it was this big, heavy, clunky thing. I don't think she had her computer. I never saw her on a computer. Never.
And what luggage did she have with her?
I want to say it was a purple suitcase. It was a purplish
like
one
a roll
pull,
type
like a
carry-on?
time that you pull. And then she usually has this obnoxiously overloaded black bag with all her toiletry in it that weighs 100 pounds. It's like a big carry-on, like a big looks like an oversized pocketbook, black with white trim. That's usually what she carries.
And what about a pocketbook? Do you remember if she was carrying her pocketbook or purse with her?
I think,
because that may not be a detail that Mark remembers. Guys don't pick up on which one to do it.
I can't tell you for sure that I saw. I know that she had recently bought an expensive pocketbook, and this is how she always traveled. She would have her big bag with all the, hair dryer and all the shit that you don't want to put in with your clothes. She'd have her pull, and then she'd have a really nice bag. And I think she just had, even if my sister made $2 million a year, she was smart, and she'd go to a consignment shop and she'd get something nice. And I think she just made a purchase for a nice Coach bag, and she was like so proud of it. You know what I mean? I know that may sound unusual for a doctor.
Do you remember the color or anything like that?
I don't.
Okay. What about Mark? Do you know if Mark had his laptop, iPad, anything? Is he one of the guys that you see him on the iPad all the time?
No, he's one of the guys you see him on the cell phone all the time.
He's always on his cell phone.
Always on his
stuff
cell phone.
On his cell phone.
Always doing stuff, because he's the contact for new
Sure.
patients. So, and I don't think Mark even has an iPad.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he does. To be honest with you, I don't know if Mark has an iPad. Did I see him on a computer? I don't recall.
Okay. When's the last time you spoke with Teresa?
I can tell you the exact time if you'd like, but all I can tell you
You
is
can
that
just tell me roughly
it was
we can-
at the airport.
Mm-hmm.
She said, "Now what the fuck am I going to do? I'm going to be sitting here
Oh,
with
so
my
she
thumb on
called
my
you from
ass
the
for
airport
3
when she's
hours."
waiting?
Yeah. No,
Okay.
what the fuck am I going to do? I'm going to sit here with my thumb on my ass. She goes, "I guess I might as well eat some shitty food. Bring on the gluten." You know what I
Yeah.
mean? We were laughing. I was sitting on my sofa.
Mm-hmm.
We talked for a while. And my first thing was, when I saw her beautiful picture come on, I'm like, "Oh, Dill, just everybody leave me alone. I'm finally away from the whole family. I just want to sit down and watch this movie." But of course, it's Teresa, so I'm going to pick up the phone. And
Yeah.
we chit-chatted very quickly.
What did you
And
guys
then
talk about? Anything in particular?
I said, "How did you leave it with the girls?
Mhm.
You guys in a good place?" She
Sure.
goes, "Yeah, we had a really good talk, and I really feel like, we ended things well. I'm glad these things happened." I told them I was glad that they misbehaved, because she said, "Someday I'm not going to be there to you know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to be able to say this is right and this is wrong, and I need you to pay attention to me."
Mm-hmm.
She goes, "I'm really glad about that." And she didn't say anything about anything else. That was my question to her. And then it was more like, "Now then, what am I going to do?" And then she was like, "Aren't you glad we didn't stay one more night? I'm so exhausted from all the kids screaming and
Mm-hmm.
the big clusterfuck when everybody gets together." I said, "Yeah,
Sure, those family functions when
they're exhausting."
together.
And that's when I said, "Well, Dill, I'm sorry that you're at the airport, but I am so happy I'm on my sofa right now, and I'm going to watch a movie." She goes, "All right, Dill, I won't bother you." And then, of course, even at that moment, I felt, why can't I be on the phone with my sister right now? She's all by herself. But you know what? If she was tired and she was beat, I said, "All right, well, I'll talk to you later."
Any plans on what she was planning? That you was just planning to go home and
Absolutely.
because she had to work the next morning.
If she had to go somewhere in addition to it already sucked for her
Mhm.
that she had to get home on a Sunday night, because on Sunday nights it was like school night.
Mhm.
Get prepared, got to start looking at new patient files, do a little bit of reviewing so you can hit the ground running
Mhm.
and maximize. So it was already a drag. She probably wasn't going to get home, I guess, until around midnight.
Mhm.
So if she had something else she had to do, like, and then I got to stop at the office, and I got to do this, I would have known.
Would your sister, was she known to carry any kind of weapons on her? Or was she like any
No.
pepper spray, anything like that?
I
to
can't say
protect
for
anything?
sure. She might have had pepper spray. I don't know.
No firearms.
She just got her pistol permit. We both
Oh, did
just
she?
got our pistol permits, but we were going out of state, and
Okay.
believe me, I wanted to bring my pistol with me,
Well, you
as
gotta
did
get
my
on the
husband,
plane. Yeah, it
because
doesn't
we were
work
in
like that.
upstate. Well, I didn't have to get on a plane,
Mm-hmm.
but we were going upstate New York, and that's where those two guys were just released.
Oh,
They
yeah.
escaped. My husband is like, "Oh my God, are you serious? Are you serious?" I'm like, "Yeah, well, it's not worth the risk. We'll never get these back again."
Mm-hmm.
She had just gotten her permit. I'm sure Mark told you they had a .45 caliber in a lockbox. I couldn't understand, I don't, I know you're supposed to keep I don't have my firearm in a lockbox.
Sure.
I'm opening up my night table like this, I'm throwing this over there, and it's in my hand.
Mhm.
So I get it, but I don't think that's going to save your life. Mark had daughters, small children.
Sure.
Teresa knew the code.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, I don't think she ever got there.
Do you know if she's known to carry large sums of money on her? Any specific jewelry that she was wearing when she
Yeah.
left that she was fond of or she would have on her?
She had a gorgeous engagement ring.
Engagement ring?
Beautiful, big, shiny diamond with a plain band, and they were platinum, I believe.
Any bracelets, earrings?
She had a lot of little bracelets on, and she had just said to me before we left, "I can't find one of my bracelets. I'm so pissed." That the girls were like, I was about to break her stones about why she was being so trendy. They wore like all the stupid bracelets on there, on those Alex and Andy, and it's like, really?
Okay.
So she had something similar, but I don't think they were Alex and Andy. She's like, "Oh, I can't find. Mark just got me this
So they're
one."
the more like the color ones. Did you get it?
They're like a silver.
They go with whatever you're wearing.
They're like
or?
a silver, and they clip, and then they have like a little medallion of sorts on them.
Okay.
Something to that effect. But I don't believe it was the Alex and Andy brand, simply because my sister we were not slaves to that crap. But she said, "Oh, Mark just gave me one," and I can't remember what she said the symbol was on it. She goes, "I don't want to lose that." And she was looking around. I go, "Well, maybe we'll call the cleaning people and maybe they'll find it." So I know she had that on, and I know she had on diamond stud earrings.
Diamond earrings. And I saw on the picture, I believe she had a necklace on.
Yeah,
Did she have a necklace on in the picture?
Always. I'm hoping it wasn't the one that my father gave her. Oh, I guess she put on another pair of earrings too. So she had on her diamond studs in the back.
Okay.
And then she had those on in the front.
So more like loop, they're kind of like more hang down on the front?
Hang down, it looked like I got something over here.
Okay. And then the necklace? Is she wearing a necklace?
Yeah, I don't recall. It must be something I've not seen.
Oh, that's okay. So she's wearing a necklace. And you like said, was she known to carry large sum of money with her or anything like that, or?
She might have. She was on vacation.
Mm-hmm. Do you know about? Did she have any of the patients or anybody she would help out that she said recently would come by and like ask for money or just show up at the house on odd hours?
Nope.
Anything that was alarming to her? Anything going on in the neighborhood with any suspicious people in the neighborhood? Any problems with the neighbors that was where she would vent that, hey, this guy's nuts or this guy did this or
I do recall her saying once. I mean, the people. So if your back is to Teresa's house,
okay.
I can't remember which neighbor. I think this is where I can't remember which side. I want to say she said something about there was once a bullet that was fired through the fence. So she's like, these fucking people are nuts around here. You know what I mean?
I think I saw the report there. It went through the fence, hit the hot tub or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, they filed
That's
a
what
report
happened.
a while
So
ago.
that's the only thing, and that they would play really loud music sometimes, and I don't think they were real respectful of what you do at 10 o'clock, what you do or don't do it.
Any arguments with any of the neighbors, neighborhood kids, parents, anything like that?
No, in fact, last year or the year before, when we were there for the 4th of July, some of the parents actually came out because Mark had fireworks, and the little kids wanted to watch them, so they were actually in my sister's driveway, and I was like, well, look at you, Miss Soccer Mom, because we're not like that.
Yeah.
She's like, yeah, that's this lady, but my sister was not out there like with the girls. She was we were kind of like, oh, good, looks like everybody's occupied here, let's go out in the back and sit, because we wanted to be together and talk.
Sure.
I didn't want to talk to any of her neighbors, and neither did she. Whereas if they were close, it would have been like, oh, this is Mary I was telling you about. And Mary, come back with my sister, and I would be like, even if she did like them, my sister's here. All bets are off. We're going to go catch up.
Yeah.
So that's the most amount of information. That's the most amount of information that I knew about her neighbors.
Is there anything I didn't ask you? Anybody else? Anything you think of that? Even some small, minute detail that she told you that you think? I know I'm sure you've been racking your brain
I have
the past few days
before I got here, and I was so glad.
Staying up at night trying to think of everything she said to try to help us. If anything that I didn't cover that you think is important, something we should cover, or something in particular that we should ask Mark to help him remember something that happened or didn't happen, or anybody else in the family?
I assume you talked to Lenka. You've questioned Lenka.
I don't know what the other detectives have done.
I mean, Lenka, not unfortunately, but lucky Lenka got to spend a lot more intimate time with Teresa than I have, because they worked together.
So they were very close?
Oh, my sister loved Lenka like a sister.
Do you think your sister would confide in Lenka if there's any other problems or any other things going on, because she's right there?
Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely.
So that'd be a good person to definitely
I would think that Lenka might be able to give you some insight, that simply because I didn't get to be in her day-to-day much,
Sure.
but Lenka saw her every day, and Teresa always talked about Lenka. She loved Lenka.
Anyone else that she would confide in or was extremely close to or spend a lot of time with, call on the phone, anything like that you know of, that we could talk to, that we think that would be important to talk to?
Maybe my Aunt Mary.
Aunt Mary.
Aunt Mary. I mean, I just talked with Aunt Mary, and she said, I know that Teresa was under a lot of stress. And she called me, and she was, stressed out. And sometimes what Teresa would do is she might, even though I was the go-to, we always said it was the Scorpio nature of her mystery, that sometimes she would go to her Scorpio aunt, my father's sister. She would use Mary first.
Okay. Over certain things. Like what kind of things would she maybe not want to...
Like maybe not tell you how really sad she was, because she wouldn't want me to worry about her. Like things like that, or anything. I'm trying to think of what she was going. Might have gone a breakup with a boyfriend or something, or making a big decision in life, and whether it was med school or moving, if sometimes she wouldn't want me to know how sad she was, because then I might get in there and, you know, we judge each other and go, what are you doing that for? Well, what are you doing that for? And I sometimes would do the same thing with Teresa. Like if I was having issues with my son, I might not go to her first, because we always said we were like the same person.
Sure.
And we needed somebody with a little more perspective.
A different view, yeah.
Just slightly different. Or in my case, it was because I didn't want my sister to yell at me.
Sure,
I always called her she was my younger sister, but I always called her the older sister that I never had.
Now, you said you talked to Aunt Mary. Did Aunt Mary give you any details or anything that she was concerned and say, hey, you know what?
No.
Just for instance, Teresa called me. I was kind of alarmed. She said something about this or nothing like that?
No, just that she was frustrated, tired, and stressed out.
And did she say what she was frustrated over?
I kind of asked. She didn't really answer me. I said, was she frustrated? I know she gets frustrated with Mark. Maybe she had reached a new level of, you know, shit. I don't want to get divorced. I don't want to do this to my kids. This is bullshit, Mary. And I mean, maybe I don't know. But she was frustrated.
Yeah.
That's what she said. Teresa was getting frustrated. Lenka had said something like her, because Lenka didn't, you know, we didn't want to believe this was happening when we didn't know what was going on. I go, Jesus, she's the healthiest person I freaking know. And she said, well, you know, her little body was under a lot of stress, Annie. And I'm like, well, maybe that's why another reason why I didn't talk to her that much. You know, stress is a killer. Maybe she had a heart attack, but she was under a lot of stress, trying to transition her business, going on the road, shooting this TV show, you know, for some doctor's network. That's it.
Yeah.
Like Mary didn't say, yeah, she didn't get into the he said. She was respecting.
Sure.
But if Teresa wanted me to know that, Teresa would have told you, like, whatever. So whether or not she can shed more light on that.
We'll reach out to her and find out. Okay. Give me just a few minutes. Let me talk to the other guys, see if anything else came up when they were talking to Mark that I need to cover with you.
Sure.
And then, we'll get back up front, okay?
Thank you.
I'm very sorry
It's okay
about your
if
sister. Yes, ma'am. Do whatever you need to.
Okay, thank you.
You need to go to the bathroom. You need anything to
I
drink?
do need to
anything, or
pee.
okay?
I do need to pee.
Walk you out real quick so you go to the restroom, and then we come right back.
It was actually nice to have a distraction.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. If you need anything, just knock on the door. And the
Thank
guys.
you. It's okay if I'm on my cell phone right now?
Oh, yeah,
Just
do whatever you need to. No problem.
but I will not do anything to compromise the investigation. And we'll talk to police officers first, as well as my sister's husband, before I can respond to you. But until I talk to a police officer about that possibility, as well as my sister's husband, I cannot give you an answer. But I cannot give you an answer. Not until I ask the police. Hello, this is Annie. Would you believe I am sitting in the Lee County Sheriff's Office right now going over the details of my sister? Sweetest Leslie. Just get that content team back and running for me so I don't have to think that I left something, that it'd be a good job. And I know, I would just ask that everybody pray for my family, especially my mother and her 2 daughters. Thank you for thinking of me, Leslie. I love you. Thank you so much. You're a kind woman. Thank you. All right. Bye-bye. Were not very clear. In fact, you began your question in such... Okay.
I talked to my partner. I think we covered everything we need for now. If there's any questions you have, I'll, like I said, if I can, I'll just be straight and tell you I can.
A couple things. First of all,
Sure.
we were talking about this website that News Press has set up, and there was a gentleman there, and I don't see the comments right now.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully I can get back to that email, because I want to say his name was Michael Wade, W-A-D-E. And I don't see the comments now, but they were not, most people were saying what beautiful things, but some people said something like nutcase, retard.
He was saying that.
I believe it was him. Nutcase, retard. I have one, and then there was another comment that said, have a couple theories, but not going to share it here. That was definitely, Michael Wade definitely said the one, I have a couple theories, but not going to share it here.
Okay.
I went to go find the comments about nutcase and retard, and I thought my girlfriend said it was from him. Now, it's possible News Press could have gone on and taken those nasty comments off.
Sure, generally they do, or but we can find out. Did she ever mention anybody named Michael, or maybe she's friends with Michael Wade, a patient?
But he could have been, I mean, there were a lot. My sister could, you either loved her or you didn't. Yeah. Because she didn't take anybody's shit, and she called you on your own. Sure. So, and she could be very... And
people are the biggest, strongest, toughest people in the world when they're hiding behind their cell phone and blogging something. They let it all hang out, just like it's finally time for me to tell people the way it is. Yeah. And they're not that way in person. Right.
Well, my sister was never afraid to tell you the way it was in person.
I like that.
Okay. Yeah. And that's why she was awesome. And that's why I have to hold all my shit together, and I have to write the eulogy that she deserves. So my sister would tell you right to your face if you were full of shit, and if she strongly agreed with things that you were. I thought she would go too far sometimes. She's one of those people that she would have been leading walks for Martin Luther King and not caring if she got killed for it.
Sure.
So I know she definitely put a lot of people off.
Sure.
Could have been people that she was in competition with in the medical community.
Sure.
Because there were a lot of people who would go out there and say they do hormone therapy. And
there's a huge difference between upsetting someone because of her personality and then going to an extreme where someone
would say that she's a nutcase. Exactly. But why would you say she was a nutcase? Have a little bit of respect. Yeah. I don't understand that.
People
that's the
nowadays no one's respectful. They don't respect anybody or themselves.
Right. Just
anything else?
I want to ask you. I'm getting bombarded by the media. I do not want to compromise the investigation. However, I want the world to know who my sister was. Please give me your advice.
My recommendation and my advice, and I've been back here in homicide for 6 years as a homicide detective. So my recommendation is before you make any comment to the media, because the media is known to twist it, turn it.
They already did that to me.
Do not give it, because they will take it, because we're not sharing information because it's a pending investigation.
I don't want to.
So when we don't give information, they go to whoever, just like a tornado going through Oklahoma, they're going to go to the craziest guy with buck teeth and a hat on and say, what happened? Because that's good news. And who cares if it's true or accurate? Any statement from the family, anyone in the family whatsoever, or close friends, we would request that if comes to a point in time where it's appropriate to give a statement or to reach out, that we help you guys put that together. And it can be like a statement with the sheriff's department, like a press release statement saying, this is what we need help, or we need this, or we want this, or that we want to say something about Teresa, and have it kind of like choreographed, like so it's specific and to the point. Because otherwise, it's going to be, they're going to catch you off guard, they're going to catch you in a moment, before the funeral or their service, and they're going to take something out of context, they're going to take something out of frustration or anger, and they're going to twist it. And last thing we need is if somebody take the wrong thing and say, one of the sisters said they believe that Sandra from work.
Yeah, right, exactly. No, I get it. I mean, I'm highly, very quick mind like that.
So I would not have any contact with them, and just ask them out of respect, for your family. Please don't contact you immediately. Right. Contact us.
At a later date, if you are really interested in honoring my sister a year down the road, and the investigation has been solved, well, we can talk about it. Of course, it won't be news to you then, but that's what we can do.
Yeah, I wouldn't even give them that.
Yeah,
I would just tell them.
Yeah, I need to quickly tell Lanka, because someone's telling me we understand. We're going to talk to Lanka.
Oh, it's like with the news.
I don't know who this is. I need to.
And we can't make people not talk, but heaven forbid, other information gets out from neighbors or police or something, and it could jeopardize the investigation.
Yeah, I'm going to text Lanka immediately because we were saying yesterday, I disagree. She was saying we should let people know how wonderful she was.
Can she come in? Can you see if she can come in and talk to us? I know that I thought one of the detectives said that she was going to come in a day or two, but the sooner the better.
Do not talk to the media under any circumstances. And I'll ask her.
And she can call you and you can clarify that with her. But yeah, I would. We highly.
Do you want me to find out if she can come down today?
Yeah.
Do you want to wait?
If she can come down. The more information we get and the sooner we get it, the better it helps.
I really think that you can get an even little closer look.
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely.
You know, I mean, I've known Teresa for my whole life. Lanka's known her for 18 months, but, you know, hello? But, you know, they talk together every single day. They were in the same office. And their kids were friends, and they spent holidays together.
Mm-hmm.
Please pick up, Lanka. I'm getting her voicemail. Please don't tell me.
What's her phone number?
Lanka.
And you can try. I'm gonna go bring the other ladies in to speak with them briefly. So you can try when you're out there, and then in between interviews, when I come out, you can tell me if you get in touch with her.
Yeah, this is ABC News, Good Morning America, and she's probably on the phone. Do not. I'm going to just, Jesus, please. I'm just going to keep calling her because they're probably on the phone with her right now. How they get people's numbers is amazing. How they got my cell phone number.
They use the programs that our analysts have that we use. There's paid program. We pay these analytical programs, and they have the same programs. They pay the same money, just like you could go on and pay and do background searches and numbers and all sorts of stuff as public information.
I'm just going to keep hitting send until you get tired of hearing the beep in your ear, but someone's trying to call you, and she'll realize that she needs to.
Yeah. And I also need Aunt Mary's number when you get a chance.
I'm looking for Lanka. Hello, who are you? Wrong number. I called the wrong number.
Okay. Do you have her number real quick before you call her back?
Yeah, I'm trying to.
Thank you.
Information. 303 517 5960.
Okay, and then Aunt Mary.
Lanka,
why?
I know what we said yesterday about honoring Teresa. Do not talk to the press, okay? I got the same thing you did from Good Morning America and ABC. No.
Hold on a second. Why do you guys... I want to know...
I'm going to give you the reason. Because they have no story. So they're going to take... And we can do we will honor Teresa. If nobody wants to honor Teresa more than I do, okay? I want to get on Good Morning America and tell the whole world that my sister was a saint, okay? But it's not going to happen right now because they're going to find this is what they do, Lanka. They're already doing it to me. I can't get into all the things that have already happened this morning to me.
Here, I can speak with her and talk to her real quick if you want.
Get them out the door. Get them out the door right now.
Here, let me speak to her real quick. Let me just ask her.
Okay. They cannot do anything with it if they don't have me, whoever set it up, which was me.
Hello, ma'am? 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 Hello, ma'am? Ma'am, hold on 1 second. My name is John Lathrop. I'm a detective with the Sheriff's Office Homicide Unit. Okay. We're just asking the family, and... Okay, I understand, and we're right in the middle of the investigation. So, what we're asking the family and friends to do, if they're going to make a statement, we would request that they let us help you guys make a statement, because We don't want the news or anyone to slip out information we don't want to divulge to the public that could jeopardize the case, and we don't want things to be taken out of context. So that's what we would request. We can't stop you. You can do whatever you want, but we don't want things. You know, sometimes the news takes things out of context, and we don't want things twisted around or. I'm not insulting your intelligence, ma'am. I'm not. All right. Sure. 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 Okay. That's only reason I would recommend against it. It's because the news is famous. Their job is getting information out of people and trying to sell papers and have people watch their show. So they are famous for leading people astray. They'll ask you one question to lead up to something, and they may cut and paste and chop up your statement and have it reflect in a different manner. So we would just ask you to be cautious, and if you refrain from it, just until we could help you guys put something together. We just found in the past that's probably more appropriate. And we're also calling to see if there's any way. Are you available to speak to us today? Yes, ma'am, I understand. And yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I totally understand. No one's upset with you or anything like that. We're just trying to get ahead of it, and I apologize for not calling you back immediately. You can imagine how extremely busy we are, and we're following up on leads. But if yes, ma'am. If you could, are you available to come down to our headquarters and speak with me? Okay, right now I'm interviewing other members of the family, so can I call you back in a few minutes and give you a time when I can come out there? Okay.
I must.
All right. We're on video still, so why don't we go outside and talk to her?
I need to tell her not to talk to Wink.
Okay. She's not going to. We already discussed that. Everything's taken care of. Oh, you have to call her back. Yeah, that's taken care of. You don't have to tell her.
You sure?
Yeah.
She said that she's not gonna.
Nope. She's gonna. And.
Did she get it? That's the